right, guys, let's get started. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate those of you in the chat saying good morning. Good to see some of your faces here today. People have been with us a while, Chris and Jed. Good to see your faces on here. And I see that everyone I picked on last week when we were doing our Working Smarter and making some notes about how we spend our time and our resources, I see those people did not come back this week. So ran them off with homework and picking on them. So, but I do appreciate all you guys coming here this week. Next week, we have Attorney Meredith Nagel coming back to discuss addendum. So all the addenda that you guys use and some of the legalese and the stuff, how you guys get in trouble, trying to avoid that. So we're going to have her here again next week to discuss that with you. Those of you who don't know, you guys can contact her anytime. She gave out her cell phone number. If you guys ever need a legal consultation or you need some legal help, she'll talk to you for free and she'll do the work for money. So let's talk today about something. So what I'm going to do, and I do this from time to time, and hopefully that's why I wanted to wait for everybody to kind of get here so people aren't popping in while I'm doing this. I don't mind people popping in, but if you guys would hold any questions, we're going to go, the first thing we're going to do, and I've done this before, and somehow we've lost the video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the process of making an offer on a vacant land. I'm going to go right through it, just show you guys it's more about filling in the blanks on the contract with what you're trying to accomplish. When I do this, you guys are going to have different, everybody has, so sometimes you guys will send me a vacant land contract or something that you've written and you say, hey, how's this look? Technically, it looks fine. A lot of times, if you fill in all the blanks, it's going to technically look fine, but it really depends on what your client's trying to accomplish. So I need to know a lot more than just, I mean, yes, I can say, hey, that's a valid looking contract, but I need to know what your client's trying to accomplish before we can actually decide if that's a good contract or not. Okay, so, or a good offer. It's just an offer, guys. Remember, it's an offer until it's been signed and it's a contract. All right, signed by both parties. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share here with you. I ask that you hold all questions to the end, please. Because what I'm going to do, this goes on our YouTube channel. That way people can say, when they say, how do I fill out a vacant land contract? I can just shoot them to our YouTube channel and a link to our YouTube channel, and they can see for themselves. We have them on there about the as is. They're pinned to the top, the as is, listing agreement, stuff like that. For some reason, it did not record properly when I did the vacant land. So I'm going to do it again. I did it about 4 months ago, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take you guys through the process here. I'm using Matrix. I know some of you guys aren't in the Matrix area. I'm going to use the Matrix. I'm going to find a piece of property and I'm going to make an offer on it. I'm not actually going to make the offer, of course, but it's going to be like I did. All right. So let me take you through that. You guys have anything to add before I get started? Any questions or comments before I get started? Anything you want to see in particular when I do this? Okay.
Hold on, I do.
Yeah, and Angie.
Are you doing a contract only, or are you doing a listing too? I thought I read listing.
No, just the contract right now. No, this is going to
purchase contract.
This is going to be 5 minutes. It's
Okay.
going to be real quick, and it's just going to be a how-to. We can discuss anything after that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, is everybody seeing my my screen, my matrix screen, my search screen? Somebody give me a nod there. Okay, great. Thank you. I can only see a couple of you. So, all right. Well, here we go. We are searching. This is in the matrix system. We are searching for vacant land. We've gone to search. We've gone to vacant land. This is just a quick vacant land search. I'm looking obviously for things that are active. I'm going to make a county. Let's say Osceola County. Osceola County, there it is. Pick Osceola County, there's going to be tons of them, 228. I don't care right now. Otherwise, I would do a more intense search there, as you guys know how to do that. Let's pick a piece of land in the middle of this thing somewhere. Here's one, Osceola Shores. Let's get this one on Mississippi Avenue in St. Cloud. All right, so here we're looking at the property. We're looking at everything that we need to look at here, and I'm going to go to transaction desk. You guys can use Form Simplicity if you want. I'm going to go to transaction desk. I'm going to click on that. Transaction desk is already going to have it loaded for us, the property. It's going to have the legal and everything on there already. You can do this also through a different means, just by going into transaction desk and pulling it off the public records by putting in the property ID. But it knows all this stuff right now. The type, it's a, I'm going to not call it either one. Here we go. Residential sale, let's say. All right. And we're the selling agent, create. So this is going to create a transaction for us on here, and then we're going to have to add the forms. Not giving us any other options there. So let's go add them. I'm just going to save and exit. When this comes up, we're going to have to add the forms. So we're going to go here to add the form. We're going to go to Vacant Land Contract. Just type in vacant, it'll pop up. Vacant Land Contract. All right. We will also, guys, while that loads up, I'm going to go back here and look if they had any attachments. They do have attachments. So they've got an old survey, a vacant land disclosure statement. And so we will add that also to our offer when we send this to our clients to sign it, and then when we send it to them. Okay. Purchase and sale contract. Bob Seller, I don't know who it is on there. And then Ryan. Finally. All right, we're purchasing this. We're going to buy it for, I don't remember whether they're asking 150,000. Let's offer them that. All right. If they had their escrow name in here, guys, I'm going to get rid of those. If they have their escrow name in here, they do. So we would put all this Page Hefner and all this stuff in there. But I'm not going to right now, but we would. Deposit. I'm going to put 5,000 down on this. Additional deposit. So when you get into vacant land, you have what's called a due diligence period. Some will call it a feasibility study. And whatever that is, typically, a lot of times, if it's a large tract of land, people will put an additional amount down here. I'm not going to do that on this $150,000 piece of property. But typically, if it were a large piece of land and we're doing a big due diligence study and I'm trying to buy, 50 acres or something, 100 acres, 200 acres, whatever it is, then we would do that. But we're not going to here. So financing, if I'm paying cash, if I'm financing, whatever it is, let's just do 70%. For lot loans, guys, that's actually doing okay. And then the rest we will put down here, balance to close. I would put a number here, but right now I'm just going to write balance. It's not going to let me write balance. Let me see, 70% of 150 is 7 times 15 is 90. So I'm borrowing 90, 60, and I put another 55,000. All right. Complete only purchase price unit. Okay. So if I'm telling them I'm going to buy this property, this is for larger pieces of land. If I'm saying I'm going to buy this for $20,000 an acre, that's when I would come here. I would check this and I would check the per acre price. We're not doing that on this one. This one has a set price. It's a small piece of land. Time for acceptance, give them a couple of days, right? Today is the 11th. Let's give them until 13th. Transaction will close. So we have a due diligence period. I want 30 days or so to look at this piece of property. This is in a neighborhood, so there's houses all around it. We don't have to worry so much about environmental concerns and stuff like that. But I do want to look at it, make sure I can fit the house that I want to fit on there with setbacks and everything else. Give me 30 days and then give me another 10 days to close. So I'm going to close at the end of June. So today's, it's about the middle of May now. I want to close, give myself till the end of June. That's always something they can counter if they want to. Let's say we're doing what we said up there that we were doing it, financing it. So we're going to get our 30 days. Buyer finance within 5 days. Guys, try not to leave blanks on here. So we have to apply within 5 days and close or have our loan approval period goes 30 days. Assignability is the same as every contract. May assign and thereby release for further liability. May not assign, or may assign and not be released. A lot of times you'll see this, guys. I don't mind this one. I'll go back to what I say during the as is one. Buyer may assign and thereby be released. I would not agree with that if I were the seller. Buyer may assign but not be released from liability. I would agree with that as a seller, and obviously I would agree as a seller may not assign this contract. But as the buyer's agent, I like to have may assign but not be released. So many times you have to add a husband or subtract a wife or do it as an LLC or do it as a trust or something else, and you have to change that. This way you just don't need the seller's approval to do that. You can always change, even if you do the may not assign, you can always change, but the seller has to agree to it. Okay, just like anything in any terms in this contract can be changed by addendum. Title, do a statutory warranty deed. We've been over the statutory versus special warranty deed. Do the statutory. Some sellers won't do that. They can counter that if they have a problem with it. Title evidence, seller's expense, and within 20 days after the effective date, or you can change it at least 20 days before closing or whatever. Title insurance commitment, there's no abstract of title, and I mean, you don't want to do that. So that's your second option there. Title insurance commitment, that's what you guys always see in residential realty as well. After receipt of title evidence, buyer will, within 10 days, that's fair enough. And then the seller has 30 days to cure. Fair enough. Due diligence period. This is, you always want to get a due diligence period. Let's say 30 days if left blank. In this case, because it is a residential lot in a residential neighborhood, 30 days is fine. Guys, if you're dealing with waterfront, if you're dealing with land that has any kind of wet on it at all, any kind of previous use, if it's a piece of commercial property, but it's near whatever it is, if it's a piece of commercial property, you definitely need more time. So if you have to get something rezoned, you're going to need more time. So there's lots of reasons you need more time. But in this one is in a residential neighborhood. You want to build a house there, 30 days is fine. Go to closing procedures and pause. Here, buyer will pay a special assessment may be paid in installments. Will pay installments due after closing. If it has to be done in that, typically you're going to do the buyer and you're going to work that out beforehand as far as the price goes. If a lot of times the seller will have to pay off all assessments at closing, especially if they're HOA, but that's public body. Okay, so here we go. This, that is normal, and this is not the one that has that. It's a commercial contract that has how we get paid and why. So that's easy. And that's it, guys. It's very simple. Have everybody sign it, and that's it. I do not see. Yeah, okay, good. So that's how that works. So you guys just save that, put it into your signature program, and there you go. There's your vacant land offer contract. All right. Are there any questions about that, guys?
Yeah, Ryan, I have a question, please.
Sure. Hold on one second. I'd like to see your face, so hold on one second.
I don't have a face. Reshu.
Okay, Reshu, how are you?
I'm good, Ryan. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So, Ryan, I have a question. I have heard that the land cannot be financed. Is it true?
What can't be financed?
The land, if you're buying a land, you have to pay cash. It cannot be financed.
No, that's not true.
That's not true?
No, people loan money on land. Okay. Typically, it's 25 or 30% down, but depends on what you're doing it for. But yeah, you can definitely borrow money on land.
Okay, so if we are buying a land for construction, a residential something, so will my buyers be approved for the construction loan as well, or this has nothing to do with the process of the land? Okay,
so let me take you through that real quickly. You buy the land. There's a what's called a lot loan. Typically, if they're buying, I'm assuming you're talking about buying a lot to build a house on, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so they'll buy the land through what's called a lot loan, a vacant land loan, lot loan. Not every bank does it, but a lot do. And you'll have a certain amount of time. Typically, that loan will be 1 year with a 1 year extension they'll do for it. And in that meantime, you're going to go, I mean, there are people that will let you just borrow the money and sit on it forever, but typically they want to get going with, they want to be out of there. So you're going to have what's called a construction perm loan, where you're going to go to a lot more lenders do, like the ones we've had in here, do construction perm loans, where it's called a construction permanent loan. And they will loan you the money to build the house. They'll pay the builder in installments as they're going along. They'll get inspected, and they'll pay them in installments as they go along, as they accomplish things on the house. And the bank will send out an inspector to make sure that they poured the slab, and they'll pay them a certain amount. Make sure the walls are up, then they'll pay them a certain amount. How many ever times they decide to do that. So yes, absolutely, that's how it's done. You do not have to pay cash for the lot. At some point, you have to have equity in the place. You have to put some money down. But nobody, I haven't seen better than 75% loan to value on lots. So, building a house on a lot is not it takes cash, but not all cash.
Okay. And one more thing, Ryan, like we have a due diligence period. So is it in the buyer's perspective that they can have the due diligence for, or it cannot be more than 30 or 45 days?
It can be as long as the seller will agree to. And that's just like our inspection period. At the buyer's sole discretion, they can back out. It's like the inspection period in the as is, I should point out, not the standard contract. The buyer can, at their sole discretion, back out during that time and get their deposit back.
So suppose the due diligence period for the land is 25 to 30 days. So my buyers can get the escrow, whatever the money they have put for the escrow, back?
If they back out during that time, yes. It's just like the inspection period of an as is contract.
Okay. And I have also, read and inquired, like if my buyers want to do the due diligence, like the survey and something with the city, so they have to pay everything regarding that, right?
Yes. If your buyers are going to work on the property, yes, they do. They put you'll see that this is the example I gave you of this lot on Mississippi Avenue. I don't know if you know St. Cloud, but all the streets are named after states, and it's pretty. That one it's a street with houses all around. So you're going to, but that might be a couple of lots put together or something. It probably is. And so you're going to want to make sure that those lots are split where you can build 2 or 3 houses on them, or whatever you're trying to accomplish. So you're going to have investors who want to buy land and do lot splits and build houses and do all kinds of stuff. You have to guide them. Well, they should know what they're doing. You don't need to guide them every step of the way, but you need to do whatever beforehand. A good agent will do whatever they need to do to make sure that it's at least close to the possibility, so they don't waste a bunch of money on trying to, environmental studies and all kinds of different things that they have to do before they can develop the land or build the house.
So we don't need a commercial agent for that. I can as well do it. I am not a commercial one, but anyone can do the land.
For a lot? No,
Yes.
To buy a lot and stuff? No, but talk to me first. If you don't know what you're doing, talk to me first.
Okay. And where I can find the more information, like suppose my buyers get into the contract, where can I find more information to read? Like what are the steps, what I need to know so that I can make aware of my buyers as well?
Well, I'd be happy to help you if you tell me what exactly where it is and what you're trying to do. But
Okay.
But YouTube and Google and everywhere else can also help you if you have just general questions. But if you have a piece on an exact piece of property that you need help with, I can tell you, but you really need to know the area and everything else.
Okay, I will email you, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Brian, I have a question real quick. It's Martha. I missed there what you said with the construction and the land. Are you saying that a buyer can get a loan with both together, or you have to get the land first and then get the construction loan?
Some people will take down the lot with you. Some builders will take down the lot for you, and then the construction firm gets them their money back. Typically what you see is a lot loan, and then you see the construction perm take the lot loan out. So it pays off the construction perm. The permanent lender is going to take out the lot loan. They're going to pay it off.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I have to ask a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you still.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when you said environmental studies on the land, is that something that, like, let's say if there's any cypress trees or different type of preserving animals, how are you going to find that out on the land?
You talk to an environmental engineer. I have some if you need to talk to them right now. But you talk to an environmental engineer. They are going to do the bugs and bunnies, what we call them. They go out there and make sure there are gopher tortoises, there are no gopher tortoises, scrub jays, bald eagles, any of the stuff that you're talking about. You can have them do soil borings like a phase 1, where they do soil borings and tell you if there's muck underneath it, like if you're near water or something like that. There's all kinds of stuff you got to do to make sure you don't get stuck with a piece of land you can't use. Because that is terrible. But that is on the buyers, but it's on you guys to make sure that they know that.
And will the county have any information on that, on land?
The county will have bad information. I mean, they have some. They can tell you, this is 14 acres and 8 of it is wet. 8 of it is classified as wetlands. But that's not. I mean, it's not going to be exactly accurate. And just because it didn't have, it's not wet. So an environmental engineer will do soil borings and tell you how wet it is. If there's muck underneath, they'll do a wetlands demarcation where they just go out. That's a really quick one. Again, you get what you pay for, where they'll go out and just flag the wetlands, which typically they're looking for wetlands vegetation and stuff like that. I know more about this than I should, but you've got to get a real thing done before you spend any significant amount of money on a piece of land. And it is obviously all money is significant to the people whose money it is. So yeah, you really want what you pay for with these environmental consultants is you pay for the knowledge and the expertise and their kind of their guarantee that the property is high and dry and buildable. Does that make sense?
Ryan, I have a question. Sorry,
yes.
Go ahead.
Yes,
Right now I'm doing in the St. Cloud a property. I got the phase 1 done on the property, and the owners because they bought land before and they've had wetlands issue which did not show on phase 1. So it is important to get wetlands done separate than phase 1, right?
Yeah, they should have had the wetlands demarcation and all that stuff done already. Okay. It's much cheaper. So typically people get that done first if there's any water anywhere nearby.
Oh, so wetlands is cheaper, you're saying?
It should be done. It should be very cheap to just have wetlands demarcation, depending on how big the property is. But
it's 2.5 acres, and they paid $1,800 for phase 1. It has come out, but it's showing low-lying areas as wetlands. So they're waiting for wetland survey. So just to know for future, because I'm looking at another parcel for them, they should first look at wetlands, since you're saying it's cheaper.
Yeah, I'll put a company in here, and you guys.
No. But you're saying wetlands should be done.
It should be. Well, it depends on what you get done, Sunaina. If you're just getting wetlands demarcation, so they can see it, and the wetland, and they'll do a little. They'll take your survey and they'll do an overlay of it, and they'll say, yeah, you're 92% wet here or something. They'll let you know.
Okay. No. What I'm trying to understand in this is that one engineer told me you do phase 1 and you're good to go to buy that land. Now I'm hearing wetlands because these people had a bad experience, so they want to get wetlands. My question to you. Okay, go ahead.
No. Who told them they were good to go?
No. Some engineer, I was telling him, because I've done few parcels of land, I told them, I said, what is the first thing I need to do just to make sure that any client of mine does not land up in a mess? So they said, the first thing you need to do is phase 1. An engineer told me this was 3 years back. So my question to you is, what is the first thing I need to do? Just phase 1 or wetlands? What do you suggest?
It completely depends on the property. So it completely depends on the property. If it's something that's not near wetlands, then I wouldn't bother with the wetlands demarcation. I mean, if this is an industrial piece in between a bunch of other industrial pieces or an industrial park or something, I wouldn't worry about that. If we're talking about a lakefront lot or something like that, then that's the first thing that you want to do, because these lakes, a lot of them are surrounded by muck and stuff too. And it might look perfectly fine, but it's not, 95% compact ground, buildable ground. You got to bring in a bunch of dirt. You got to suck out a bunch of muck. You got to do all that stuff, and it makes it cost prohibitive. So that is that's the first thing I would do is get wetlands if it's near water. If it's an industrial site, I would get the phase one where they check for all kinds of they check the soil for all kinds of hazards and hazardous materials and stuff that could have been a dump site before or anything like that. And so then you can't build on it anyway. And you've got to do, you got to clean it and do all kinds of stuff that's cost prohibitive also. It's all about cost. You can do anything with money. You can mitigate that whole 2.5 acres.
Yeah. But the cost factor goes up. I went through one land that required mitigation and your cost land value goes double. I mean, everything can be fixed. I know that, but it's for money.
Okay, so Nina, when they do the soil boring, they should have found out what kind of soil it is. And certain soils, Mayaca soil and all these different soils are known to be in wetlands, and they're mucky and they're this and they're that. So they should know what they can and can't build there.
Okay, so for phase one is the key thing, first thing, right?
Well, it's the reason it's more expensive is because of that. They check for everything.
Okay, great. They did get the phase one. I just don't know how to read the reports. They're showing the engineer. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I'm thinking of buying a property in Crystal River, Florida. Do you know any environmental engineers out that way that go out there, Crystal River?
I think that they'll go anywhere. I know a couple of other ones. If you want to contact me privately.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Thanks.
That's fine.
I'll do that.
Hey, Ryan, to add on to that too.
Yes.
I work quite a few vacant land listings. Usually I'm on the listing side. Right now I have 2 under contract that that are off market. So I'm kind of on both sides. And one of the things that I think is a good resource is all the different tabs that are there on the MLS listing. So when somebody calls me and says they're interested in a piece of vacant land, I send them the whole tax report so they can see what the taxes are on it. Because a lot of times that can change your mind if taxes are higher there. Also the zoning, you could go and just copy and paste the zoning from the MLS listing, type it into Google, Orange County zoning R-10, and it'll pull up a whole list of what can go there already, what is already set. And then also the parcel map so that they could see where the lot lines are. I send that to my buyers that are interested. And the flood map is there too as one of the links. So sending them all that can kind of help them narrow down. The last one that I sold was 1/2 acre, and about half of the property is in a flood zone, is in AE because it's riverfront. So we had to have a wetland delineation done. And in the contract on the additional terms, the buyer wrote in, contingent upon wetland delineation being clear to build a home on it. And the wetlands were only along the riverside, even though half the property was in a technical flood zone. It wasn't wetland at all. It was only the bank of the river. So those resources there that are in the MLS are a really good starting point for people when you have a buyer that's maybe not super knowledgeable and you want to help them out. But if you don't know about doing land sales, Ryan's quick little thing here is in no way preparation to go and write a contract for your buyer, because you could get yourself into a lot of trouble. I've had agents submit offers to me and I'm like, what is this? It's just crazy. There's no protections for your buyer at all. They think it's similar to an as-is contract and they put like 5 days in the inspection period for due diligence and things like that. So if you don't have any knowledge, reach out to Ryan, find a mentor, find someone to partner with if you want to work with clients doing land sales, or refer it out to somebody and just, pick up a check at the end, because there's quite a bit more to it. The due diligence period, it's almost more liability than buying a house, in my opinion, because there's just so many more things to it and so many different factors that you just can't see until you get in there and send somebody to do it. And it's an expensive due diligence period. So if you don't want your buyers to waste a bunch of money, then I would suggest, partnering with somebody else. Also, emailing the county or the city has had really good luck for me lately. They've been very responsive. There was a lot that somebody was interested in and they wanted to build townhomes. So I looked up the city of Bel Air over here in Clearwater and said, can we put townhomes on this? Because all it said online was residential. And they said, no, you can't put townhomes there. So then that was quick, moved on to the next property because my buyer didn't want that. So emailing the city or the county is nice to do if you have quick questions like that about zoning or what you could put on it.
That's a good, point that you've made. Let me ask you, what is the largest parcel you've done of land?
I've only done residential lots. So I haven't done an acre.
Okay.
I mean, I bought myself like 4 acres, but nothing
Okay.
more than that, nothing
Okay.
more than maybe 1 residence per lot, but I do quite a few
Okay.
residential lots.
Okay. Ryan, can you send me the one you said for wetlands, please?
It's in the chat.
Thank you.
All right.
Ryan,
Hey, Jen. Yeah.
couple questions. You said there was more information on YouTube.
For what do you there's some on our channel, but what are you looking for?
Oh no, I'm just gonna. I got some time now for a minute, so I was gonna. If you had videos and things to watch, just to kind of gather information, I was gonna go to that resource.
No, I can find you some stuff. But no, I mean, I'm just saying, if someone had asked, how could you learn more about in general about the vacant land process? And there are YouTube videos and stuff like that as well. But you're welcome to ask anything you want while we're here. This is, I don't know if you guys know this, but vacant land is my forte, and it has been for 23 years. So if you guys have any questions on this kind of stuff, it says, but especially for development. And Angie's talking about for these people doing these residential lots and stuff like that, it is great to go ahead and email the county. That you'll get better response than you do if you call. Plus, whatever they say is in writing, which is nice, and they'll give you a straight answer, and a quick no is better than a long no, right? Mm-hmm. So I will tell you, though, in the world of development, like large acreage and getting stuff done that you don't want to, if you want to actually make money buying land, you don't take no for an answer. You go get it done with the planning and the city council and the county commission and everybody else that you need to. So that's a different process, and I would never email somebody, an employee at the county or the city to get an answer, because I don't want anything in writing. I want to see what I can do to change their mind. So I want a meeting with the staff and see what we can do to change their minds. But that's a whole different game. Mm-hmm. So what you guys are doing, I do encourage the emailing to the staff members at the county or city and getting a direct answer that you can hold them to down the line if anybody gives you a hard time about it. But the main thing you want to do during this 30 days due diligence, when you're doing just a lot loan and a construction perm, is make sure they can build the kind of house they want to build on there. They have a footprint, they can do it. The builder can tell them. But once they find out where they can actually build through a survey or environmental wetlands delineation and all that stuff, the builder will actually set the footprint on there and make sure that he or she can build what they need to build there to make you guys, make your buyers happy. So that's what you need to discuss and encourage during this time period. And you want your buyers to do that. You guide them, you hold their hand and take them to there, but you can't do all the work for them, because now you're taking a liability that you are not a builder, you are not a civil engineer, you are not the kind of person that can tell them what they can build on a piece of land, right? You facilitate, and that's it. You do not make any guarantees, you do not do any of that stuff.
Yeah, also in that regards too, you can also get the seller to pay for a lot of the due diligence things. So my seller on this last property paid for the wetland delineation. So put that in your contract if you're writing an offer for buyers, because it's in their best interest to have that information. So, there's a lot of things that when you're on the residential side, the seller is not going to pay for inspections, but on the land side, there are sellers that will pay for some of these inspections and testing and stuff. Or you could put in, if they don't want to pay for it, you can put in the contract that if it cancels because of the results, then they pay you back, or, other type of creative things to get some of the money back for all the inspections that take place. If so many times you see listings on the MLS and it says, build your dream home here. And then you call the city and they're like, you can't build a house there. It's completely wetlands or whatever it might be. So there's a lot of false advertising with listings. So, having the sellers be responsible for some of the due diligence is possible with a lot of these listings.
Okay. So I'm selling an acre lot on the lake here, and I knew I would have to do all the wetlands delineation and have all that kind of stuff. And I've got flags out there, and I've got posts out there to show people where they can, because I had a builder, and he went out there and put posts in the corners of what he was going to build and all that stuff, so they can envision their house on that. But I paid for all that stuff, and I had to get a survey, of course, and I actually had to do some mitigation to build where I wanted to build. and a lot of these times that they say build your dream home here, yeah, you can't do that. And depending on what they're asking for the lot, if it's $1 million lot, if it were perfect and they only want 200,000 for it, maybe that works and you get it mitigated and you do all that kind of stuff and you go through all that pain and time and expense as the buyer to turn that $200,000 lot into a $500,000 lot, but you only spent 80 grand and you took 2 years to do it. So it depends on who's willing to. We call that having a lot of hair on a deal. It depends on who's willing to work with it to try to make some money, save some money. Okay. Any other questions? We got some questions in chat. Same day. I don't know who you are, but because it's not said, we don't have any agents named same day. But I will send you a link, or I'll have Yari send you a link to do that. It was on your welcome email if you joined within the last couple of years. If not, we will send you that. HR wants to know, what is your name if we can reach out to you?
It's me, Ryan. It's Hashi.
Oh, Hashi. Who are you trying to reach out to?
The lady that was just speaking about the land contracts.
Okay.
She's an agent with that. If we want to refer to her.
Yes. And Angie Hashi's an attorney, I believe, aren't you, Hashi?
Yes.
Yep. So there you go.
Perfect.
She just put her stuff in the chat. You bet.
Thanks, Ryan.
You bet. Zoe had to get an entire lot scanned with sonar because some neighbor said he saw someone burying paint drums. Yeah. People burying paint drums, people with old fuel leaks, if they stored cars there, whatever. There's going to be environmental stuff that they will not. That's why they call it environmental studies, part of why they call it that. And that's why they do soil borings and stuff like that. They're also looking for contaminants and stuff that will not let you build on top of or cover up or anything else. They'll make you cleanse the earth, dig it out, bring in fill. You got to get rid of the hazardous material, drop it at a brownfield site. It's a whole thing. Rescue, I put the biotech consulting. And Zoe said, thank God it was clean. Yes. Yeah, they probably saw something else. All right. Any other questions or comments on vacant lot? And then we're going to move on.
I have
one question.
Bring it on, whoever.
I got a one. I don't know if you want to discuss it on here. I was going to see if you could if I could leave my number with you and call. But I got a piece of property that's 7-8. It's a rodeo arena down here, and it's 7.5. It's 7.2 acres, but it's zoned very uniquely. In fact, I doubt there's a property zoned like it in Osceola County. You can have anything from a strip club to an asphalt plant to a tourist complex. I mean, Dad was a county commissioner at one time. He knew what he was doing.
Right.
Right. And we're getting ready to sell it. And anyway, we got an appraisal on it, and the appraisal ain't bad. It ain't bad, but I'm questioning it. Is there?
How many acres is that?
What's that?
How many acres is it?
7.2.
And what are you asking for it?
Well, the appraisal come back at $3 million.
Okay, can you send me the address, because I'm going to look at a property in St. Cloud, 20 acres. I can look at this one also.
Okay, all right.
All right.
How do you do that?
Just put it in the chat. You can put it in the chat.
I can put my phone number in the chat.
Okay, where's the chat at?
At the bottom, if you scroll over the bottom of the screen, Jed, you'll see chat. Mine might be a little different from you guys, but just scroll your mouse at the bottom of the screen below everybody's pictures. Okay. I don't know what if you're looking at the same thing I am.
If you move your cursor just to the bottom, you will see says participants, and beside says chat.
Okay.
Just click on it and write your information.
Okay. I put my phone number in there.
Why is mine going to ratio? Who's ratio?
What's that?
Because I don't know. She must have sent you. You got to go to everyone.
You should change it to the 2 to everyone, and ratio probably send you a text, and that's why it looks like that.
Okay, 1 second. I don't know. I did put it
Okay.
on chat and to read.
All right. So Jed, I think we'll just build a strip club, asphalt plant, and tourist destination. And
Yeah, we can do whatever we want to there.
we'll do it all.
Do it all. It's fitting to be for sale. Like I said, we got an appraisal, but it's the lot. It'd be a great place for a gas station. You know, I'm thinking there's more value somehow.
Well, I mean, can you split? Obviously, you can split it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a gas station, even the big ones nowadays are like 1.6 acres or something, like a Wawa or racetrack or something. So, I mean, there's plenty of other usage there. Yeah. And at that, you probably would get probably $1.5 million for that. So we can split it up. I'd like to know more about it. Send me the stuff on it too. You've got my email, right?
Yeah, I can.
I mean, that's how you got on here. So
yep, I can get the email. Yep.
Okay.
This was like a cinnamon.
Jed, put your phone number on the chat, please. I'll call you. I need to get information on this.
Well, there you go. We put it on there.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys. Moving on. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, I do have a question. I have a buyer that's looking for land, but they want to do a prefabricated home. Do I need to look for any specific permits or zoning for that type of land?
You need to look for specific zoning depending on where you are. Angie's nodding her head. She wants to talk to you about it.
Okay.
The easiest way is to email, like if you see a listing, to email the county and they'll tell you, because you could go and the zoning is different, has different words and letters and numbers in it for different counties and cities. So you could just, like I said, copy and paste the zoning. I'm looking at one that says the zoning is E1 over in kind of St. Petersburg area. So yeah, I've never heard of that one. But I would check the zonings, copy and paste it, put it into Google, whatever county you're in, or if you know it's in a city limits, then check that zoning and it should tell you there. But if it just says residential, then you're going to want to email the county zoning committee, and you can usually find those email addresses easily online and ask them if you could put a prefabricated house, because there's a lot of areas where you're just not allowed to, and they only want single family homes. They don't want prefabricated, they don't want manufactured, they don't want mobile, they don't want modular, they want only single family homes. So you're going to make sure that you're sure that if it's rural, you'll be more likely to do it in a rural area. So if you're setting up a search for them, you might want to search the more rural areas. But if it's anywhere closer to towns and cities, it's going to be really hard.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Yeah. So what Angie's saying there is, if you know what county that they want to be in, then contact that county and ask them what areas they could do that in, and then you can limit your search to that area. So then you don't have to contact them about every single piece of property on the MLS.
Yeah, and you can ask them what zoning includes that, and then you could search the zoning map too, and find the areas that allow that type of zoning. So if they say yes, it's allowed, and here's the designation RS-MM or whatever they designate it as, then you could search their map for where those areas are zoned already.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on raw land?
That's it.
All right, awesome. I have, all right, let's move on then to any other questions on that? Nope. All right, let's move. Yes.
Can you put your zip code also, please?
Okay.
Jed?
All right.
I don't see a zip code.
All right. Let's go to working smarter, guys. What have we done since last week? Anybody? Idul, you were here. Did you write down anything or talk about anything that you've been doing? Did you consider any of that stuff?
Yeah, I'm actually working on a CRM, Wise Agent.
You're working on Wise Agent? Did you demo a bunch of them, or how did you pick that one?
I had Lion Desk and stuff. I like Wise Agent because you can actually text, which is more common. So, and it does a good job with like emails.
Okay.
So each contact, you can actually see emails that you've sent,
Okay.
which is pretty good, and it syncs pretty good with Google, your calendar, things like that.
Awesome. Okay, good.
So it's within that, there's like a lot of them, like Tammy was talking about last week, which is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not, it's like $30, $30-something a month.
Okay. Yeah, that's much better. Sounds like that's all she was getting out of her other thing she was doing.
If you don't use it, it doesn't, if you spend $1,000, you don't use it, it's kind of like worthless as compared to $37 and don't use it.
Yeah. Well, use it.
Yeah, so I'm trying.
So I've got something going on in chat here. Is that Edward Foster? Are you, is that you, Ed, who's texting? I can't.
Yes, I was curious. I missed what he said that he was just talking about.
Wise Agent CRM. But Ed, I've got something else for you. Lisa sent me a direct message that she's looking for an agent in Marion County. So Lisa's got something for you.
Okay.
Lisa Sager. Lisa, contact Edward. Ed, if you'll put your number in chat. Ed's our Ocala guy. If you guys need something in Ocala, Ed's there for you. All right. Well, she sent me a direct thank you. But reach out to him though. All right. Okay. I love matchmaking. That works out great. So, guys, Angie, who has been very helpful for us today, is in charge of our mentoring program. So, if you guys need a mentor, she's obviously in the Bay Area, but she also works in Orlando, and she has lots of people in our mentoring program. So, if you either want to be a mentor because you have experience and you want to help people, or you want to be a protege, mentee, whatever that other person is, then you contact her and she'll get you help on whatever it is. And you don't need to do it all the time. You can do it. She has a program for I think it's 3 closings, Angie, or you can do as much as you want. Or if you just have a different kind of deal, she'll do a one-on base. If you just don't know about a certain kind of deal, she'll do that too as a one-off. So let her know if you're interested in that. Or you can let me know and I'll forward you to her. So, all right. Any other questions on what we're doing, guys? I guess we'll talk more about does anybody have anything to add on the working smarter? And that is where we talked about leveraging these relationships with lenders and everybody else who wants to kiss up to you and steal all your leads and have you hand them over all your clients to help them in their business, leveraging them for their leads, for their stuff that they're marketing, the expense and work that they're doing, just like they're siphoning off your expense and your hard work, and you're leveraging your connections. And if your cousin wants to buy a house, you send them to this lender and everything else. What are they sending you? Are they sending you their cousin when their cousin wants to buy a house and they get pre-approved through them? Because guys, lenders and people like that are going out there and finding clients on their own, and they're sending them to an agent. They're not finding them a house. Is your lender sending you their people? And if not, ask them. Don't be shy. They're not going to give them to you if you don't ask them. And if they've got too many people they're already giving them to, then find somebody else or have them co-market with you. That's a good compromise. Is, look, you guys, I'm going to spend $1,000 on marketing. Let's go halvesies, right? So they will co-market with you as well. They'll spend the money because they're making, those of you who don't know or remember, they're making about half of what you make on a deal. So if you're making a $10,000 commission, they're making about a $5,000 commission. That's how they make a living. So they are motivated to work with you, and that's why they come and they want to buy you drinks and take you out to lunch and do everything else, because they want to. That's why they want to come in and talk to our group, because they want your business. So make sure you're getting their business back. They make sure your loan officer is giving you people back. And if you're sending everybody to Rocket Mortgage, you're probably not getting anything back. So get some relationships. All right. Any other questions or comments before we go on? I think we're going to wrap it up here very shortly. So any questions or comments?
Real quick, I wanted to tell everybody about a great continuing ed class that I did yesterday. Greater Tampa Realtors offered it, and I'm sure Aura does all the time too. It was on a short sales and foreclosure specialist certification. It was a really great class. It was 7 hours long, so it was my entire day. It was exhausting. It was a lot of information, but it was really good if anybody wants to just get information on those topics of short sales and foreclosures, how to list them and work with banks, and also on how to help, sellers that call you and say they might need to short sale or foreclose soon. And also, working with buyers who are thinking about purchasing one of these properties. So it was really good information. They sent us a lot of great links afterwards and the whole book, which I'm going to have to read again because my brain was exploding. But if anybody's interested at all in short sales and foreclosures, I would definitely recommend taking this class. It gives you the C credits, and it's also a lot of really good information, really informative. So let me know if you guys have more questions about it. I can give you more information on the links.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Edward wants more information, please. All right. And Edward, you've got her emails in the chat. Guys, Angie's email, she put it in here earlier in the chat.
Yeah, my email, and I thought I put my cell to somebody, but I'll put my cell number in there too. You can always text me. And
yes. All right, guys. Next week, like I said, we have Attorney Meredith Nagel coming in. She will discuss the addenda with us, go over all of that, give you her number. So if you ever have any issues or anything, you can contact her directly. Great attorney, pretty nice lady. And I will see you guys next week. Any questions in the meantime, contact me. I look forward to hearing from you. And anything else for future open forums, if you'd like to discuss, we will do it. All right, guys.
All right,
thank you all for coming.
Yes.
Look forward to hearing from y'all. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.